welcome to No Enemies Here, the show where you get all your wargaming news amalgamated, consolidated, and all kinds of aideds here. And, welcome. Thanks for watching. It's probably a gorgeous Saturday somewhere. It's probably someone's birthday somewhere. As many things as there I could say, somewhere it's happening. So, first things first. Sunday I will be interviewing at 5:30 Dutch time, that is Eastern Standard Time, Joel Toppin, the pastor, Joel Toppin. We will find out what kind of a man he is, where he comes from, what his favorite color is, what kind of music he listens to, what's his next game design. Will it be on Native Americans? Will it be on Native Canadians? Who knows? But Native Canadians and Native Americans, same thing, right? Native's a native in North America. Just because there's boundaries, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, also, let us give a little shout out to the Armchair Dragoon Digital Convention, ACDC. This is obviously a digital convention from the Armchair Dragoons from the 14th, that is yesterday, to Sunday. That's right. Get on your digital thinking cap and play some war games. A lot of stuff is happening there. I don't have that in front of me right now. I wish I did. I wish I would have prepared for this, but hey, you know what I'm saying? Also, Flying Pig Games is coming out with, or is out already, with a Kickstarter of their Old School Tactical reprint, Volume 1, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, you gotta go check it out. Their production, this is not a reprint really, it's a remake. That's what he says. That's what the advertisement says. And I mean, their production value is stellar. There's nothing else to be said but unbelievable, right? Like Jean Beliveau, unbelievable. And that's about it. Let me see. Oh yeah, I'm gonna speak to Gilbert Tostavin. He wrote to me, and we're gonna talk about music or instruments of 40,000 years ago. That's interesting to me, and I shall make it so that it's interesting for you. Also, I am starting another YouTube channel. Don't freak. I'm not being unfaithful here. It's just, I really love tobacco. I really love pipe smoking. It's my meditation, right? And I'll be starting a new pipe tobacco show. Weekly, I don't think so. This one's probably gonna be monthly. And it's going to be called The Fokker Circus Pipe News. Yep! You are more than welcome to come and check it out. Format will be the same as No Enemies Here. That's what I know. If it ain't broke, don't fix. And music will cross over also. I might compose some new stuff. We will hopefully have some support from some people in the tobacco industry. It's obviously gonna take a long time. Hey, it's a new thing, man. I like it. I like doing this stuff. And I wouldn't do it if I didn't like it, because I don't do anything I don't like. It's incredibly difficult for me. If I'm not into something passionately, I can't do it. You understand? I can't. So, that's what it is. And I think that's the opening here. Really big show today. The unveiling of Grognard of 2020 is going to be happening on this show. Also, Kilroy is back. I'm still waiting for Wojennik. Wayne Hansen doesn't have any time. He's out. He's gone. He skipped what I mean. He got off the boat. Whatever I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say. He just didn't have enough time. Don't forget also I'm playing an RPG on Bonding with Board Games with the Chief and Ron. My God, I forgot his last name. But he's Dratus. He's my brains. And we make a good team, man. Seriously, we got out of some situations. It's an RPG called Twilight 2000. Lots of fun. It's a serious one, meaning that if I get shot and I die, I'm dead. So I can't be all Captain America. You know what I'm saying? Have a good show and sit back, relax, take it easy. Do what you do when you take it easy while watching No Enemies Here. Have a good one. Just Garde or Justy Gardy, but it's Just Garde. That's what it is. Welcome, Just Garde. And this week on Just Garde Paths of Glory, the first ever game after action report. This is a game published by GMT, plus BottleSCon 2021, a recap of their con, what was played, and the HOLLANDSPIELE sale. Also, his favorite games of 2021, and Autumn 4 Barbarossa Deluxe Edition, a game published by Multi-Man Publishing, and a game I do have, 300 Earth and Water by Nuts Publishing. This is an overview. Holy moly guacamole, Robin! I should say Batman. KilRoyWasHere is here. And he's got 6 videos out this week. Behind Enemy Lines, a FASA game, exploration and overview. Also, a Palladian game, or magazine I should say, but it looks like a game, Deluxe Revised Recon. Another exploration, and Okinawa, the bloodiest battle in the Pacific. Also, Coffee with Kilroy, relax, take a coffee, and brief history discussion of the Wargamer magazine. And the Morrow Project. It's a timeline exploration of that system or game, and the Book of Mars, an image game. On KilRoyWasHere this week. Kings and Generals, 5 videos out. Did Genghis Khan have red hair? Seriously? Also, how the Mongols lost China, and battle for the Dutch East Indies in the Pacific War, and how to invert crescent to win battles. How to use inverted crescent to win battles, for God's sake. This man's all about strategy. And when the French kings kidnapped the Pope. The 2021 Grognard Jim Ozarski does Lutez bridgehead breakout for Rommel. I hope I pronounced that right, or Lutez. I could try it again, I'll massacre it anyways. The Battle of Wagram for bloody big battles. The man who goes by the name of Jeff is back with Cold Water Revisited. A few missions of that, and Cold Water's North Atlantic, and Cold Water's Chinese Campaign, a digital game, obviously, of naval combat. This guy ain't sitting on his laurels. Check out the amount of videos ID Jester has out. He's got, like, I'm just gonna go willy-nilly here, not even in order. Opens game packages of new GMT games, checks out Lock and Load Tactical's Heroes of North Africa, and that's Charles Cab's face there. Also looks at Old School Tactical Volume 3, The Pacific, from Flying Pig Games. Looks at Lock and Load Tactical, not Tactical I should say, Lock and Load Publishing's Stalin's Triumph. He's doing a live unboxing platoon level game live. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. I said it. Also, Lock and Load Tactical System of Heroes of the NAM, or I should say, no, Heroes of the Pacific, and Heroes of Defiance, Lock and Load Tactical System. He's going on a Lock and Load Tactical freak out! He's also playing one of the hardest games I've ever played, Robinson Crusoe. Play it. You're gonna die, and you're gonna die. Also, Old School Tactical Volume 1, 2nd edition from Flying Pig Games Kickstarter. All that, plus Panzer Grenadier Kursk South Flank Scenario 1. What more do you want? You want more? Sure. Sentinels of the Universe, or of the Multiverse. You know what I mean? You want more? Sure. The War Room, giving a second chance probably to games, and I see Ruff is there, but I don't see Tony. I could give you more if you want, but I'll leave it up to you. This week on Hexes and Soldiers, AJ Toynbee, Jason Cruz talks about of rugs and Icelandic chocolate. I gotta watch that. 2 videos out this week on Hex to Hex: Battle of the Bulge, Ardennes, The Final Play, and Tannenberg, Der Weltkrieg, episode number 1. Timmy of Hairbrain Games reviews a game he unboxed last week called 303 Squadron. As I've said many times, anybody in Colorado Springs, go check out this guy's museum, okay? He's not just a gun nut, he's a museum nut. 3 videos out on Dragon Man. George Washington and Founding Fathers drawing, probably, I don't know, the Constitution, drawing up the Constitution, and behind the scenes of Dragon Man's military museum. And if anybody wants a job, tell him that No Enemies Here sent you. It's a museum tour guide. I would love to be a tour guide at this museum because you got a lot of stuff. This week on Diagonal Move, Normandy 44. This is a GMT game designed by Mark Simonich. He gives us a component overview and also a component overview of Dawn of Empires, a game published by Compass Games. And Dave of Dave's Gaming Cave, 3 videos this week. The first one being Enemy Action Ardennes, GS, December 16th, Part 1. I'm confused. What's GS? Grand Strategy. This is not a grand strategy game. Anyways, I'm probably wrong. And he has another video, Part 2, of the same said game, a game designed by John Butterfield, published by Compass Games, and a DVG game called Warfighter Wave 3. What's in the Kickstarter? The guy who brings fun into weird combat board games, playing and reviewing a game called World War Z by White Dog Games. I gotta get me some White Dog Games. Oh man, Charlotte Historical Gamers, Charles Cab, also known as Charles Cabell, hasn't been around for like months and months, and he puts out 3 videos. The first one being Rally the Troops, How to Play, and How to Install Vassal 2022 edition with Combat Commander Europe module and the evolution of commands and colors. All this on Charlotte Historical Gamers. On Castle Archon, not very often do we get to see a Dalgleish. This is one of those like, find a Dalgleish. Well, there he is, Grant Dalgleish. Is probably interviewing Justin Thompson, or Justin Thompson interviews Grant Dalgleish, because I know the Dalgleishes did Julius Caesar, but it was co-designed by Justin Thompson, and they talk about Julius Caesar, a game published by Columbia Games. The man famously known as Calandale, Enrico Viglino, Trois Batailles en Allemagne, Siege of Danzig. This is an intro, and concerning Trois Batailles en Allemagne, the Siege of Danzig, Part 1. The Chief and Bonding with Board Games is interviewing James Buckley from Phalanx concerning his new game, Purple Haze, which has an RPG-ish quality, or I'm probably wrong. It's got a great narrative, but hey, you know, what can I tell you? Also, the Chief plays the evil Twilight 2000 Season 1, Episode 1, Krieg Folds the Flag. Well, he's playing Twilight 2000, which we are also with my buddy Ron, who is Dratus, and the Chief being the Game Master. But he's playing an evil one, like he's going dark, man. And who knows, there might be a crossover of his character coming in to try to mess us up, Dratus and the Sweet Duke, on our Twilight 2000. Kevin of the Big Board takes a look at Sacred Oil, a quick look inside, and all errors are his. The third winter scenario and turn 4, the 5th of January 1944. This is a flyover. And the Sacred Oil scenario number 1, turn 1. I think this is a Thin Red Lines game. On Illuminating Rounds this week, episode 60 called Unlucky 13th. And they chat about the type of players that are and assesses where they are as players. Artie of ARDWULF'S LAIR is unboxing Gallipoli 1915, a game published by GMT, also doing Traveler Tuesdays, Mongoose Traveler 2nd Edition 2022. He's counter-clipping with the State of Wargaming on YouTube. That is his opinion. Also, unboxing Imperial Tide from Compass Games, and on his clipped negativity in Wargaming mini rant. Artie, mini ranting? Nah. And he's unboxing Dark Blue Deflection. This is the solo expansion for Red Storm. Also, check out everything you wanted to know about war games, but were afraid to ask. And we were talking about war game reviewers. What's the gist? What's the this? What's the that? On war games. I mean, on my channel, No Enemies Here. This week on 6 Actual Conflict of Heroes, Guadalcanal, Semper Fi, Mac. This is a game designed by Uwe Eichert and published by Academy Games. This week on 3-Minute Board Games, I should say, a reminder that only our reviews are 3 and a bit minute long. This is not. It is 13 minutes long, and it is 3-Minute Board Games Game of the Year 2021.
Seriously?
Oh putain!
And I'm Grant.
What? I'm sorry? They said what? No, that was forever. Forever. Yeah, Grognard. Grognard of the year forever. That, no. No. Oh, yeah, and who's you going to give it to? Huh? If it's not me, who's you going to give it to? I mean, seriously. Seriously, I mean, you know what he's going to do? He's going to go out and he's going to find some scotch-sipping, hexagon-hopping schmuck like Ardwulf. Who? Ardwulf. Ardwulf. I see. This guy goes onto YouTube with a teeny tiny, not entirely manly sippy cup of scotch, his clipper, a pile of counters, and 10,000 people show up and go, ooh, yeah, okay, fine. What am I going to do? I don't run the thing. Talk to the lunatic on the East Coast that runs this show. No? Hey, Artie, congratulations. You do good work, man. Happy to hand it to you. Be good.
Yeah! Fucking awesome, Jim! For our Italian listeners, Mauro Faina! 6 videos, live, also, The Jaws of Victory. And he gives us 3 minutes with the Jaws of Victory, also Sword of Rome, and a video concerning Sword of Rome, the first part, and another video live with Il Giannizzero, Nero, Mauro, Faina. Indy Nidell and the World War II channel. This week, a Soviet offensive along the entire front. Also, Sniper Warrior, Vasily Zaitsev. I said that right. World War II, a biography on the famous sniper and sniper rifles of 1942. This is a World War II special. And the revenge bombing of Germany. Brutal. Where are you, Michel? Michel Leviathan on Wojennik TV. Thread counts and World in Flames. These are 2 videos in the Polish language, and Europe Divided, which again is in the Polish language, and Napoleonics, the Spanish Army, an unboxing, and Sky Tier unboxing. 2 videos out this week on Wardy Roleplays World War II, the Hugh Hefner of War Games, Chain of Command, Jean Blue, Gap Scenario 2, and could it be Jean Blue Gap? I broke it up. What can I tell you? It happens. And Blitzkrieg Commander 1940, France Encirclement. This is live. Tim Korchnoi of Bare Bones War Game takes a look at what you get with the deluxe version of the game Midway, a Second World War at Sea, a game by Mike Benninghoff, PhD. GIMPY of the GIMPY Gamer, 4 videos. Let's Be Better to Do Better. Actually, that was on last week, but so 3 videos. 2 videos on Bolt Action Review Through, Part 1 and 2, and Boot Camp 37 of Point Blank, called Cover. Those sweet guys from the Player's Aid are reviewing Soldiers in Postman's Uniform, a game published by DVG, designed by Dave Thompson, and unboxing Blood on the Ohio from Compass Games. This week on the Board Game Chronicles, 2 videos. Lazarath Ridge Preview Playthrough, Part 2. Also, a video unboxing of a game published by Worthington Publishing called Tarawa 1943. The one and only STUKAJOE, 2 videos out this week. Napoleon on the Berezina, an overview, and a live unboxing video of Civil Power. All this on STUKAJOE this week. Besides the lights and the voice, Seek Out and Play gives us a short video that describes the expansions number 32 and 33 for Warfighter World War II on Seek Out and Play. The cuddly rough swordsman wargamers unboxing The Last 100 Yards Volume 3, The Solomon Islands, a game designed by Mike Denson and published by GMT Games on Rough Swordsman Wargamer. For our Italian listeners, a mini war log on the Battle of the Bulge, 1944. Where can you watch this? Well, on Riccardo Mazzini's channel on YouTube, Warlog. tutorials, 2 videos out this week. Here comes the Rebels, scenario number 1. And this is a game, Road to Gettysburg 2. A playthrough he's been doing for a while, I think. And Combat Commander Stalingrad, scenario 36. A game by Chad Jensen. I should say, a module from Combat Commander. On My Own Worst Enemy, a gameplay segment across 5 Aprils. P. Ridge, The Conclusion. Mo of Mo's Game Table is previewing and giving you his first impressions on Phalanx's new game, Purple Haze. The artist and designer that is Matt White on Matt White Wargames, he checks out Napoleon's Eagles, Storm in the East, a review from the Battle of Borodino and Leipzig. Storm in the East, Matt White. On Mark Felton Productions this week, Tony Blair's Knighthood, a historian's perspective. Also, Micromilitaries, Europe's Tiniest Armies. Marco Omni Gamer reviews my favorite Frenchman living in England, Freddy Serval, and his game, Red Flag, over Paris, 1871, the rise and fall of the Paris Commune. All this on Marco Omni Gamer. This week on Little Wars TV, the old barracks in Trenton is one of the oldest buildings in the city and one of the few surviving witness structures to Washington's legendary 1776 surprise attack against the Hessian garrison. That's what's on Little Wars TV, a tour. Let's play history and Heinemann, and I'm not even gonna pretend to say that, but I'll try. 4 Runden rounds gegen General Blümchen. Wachat der Nervoserven. Oh, for God's sake, man. He's playing a digital game. This week on Legendary Tactics, a solidarity card by card from Twilight Struggle. Actually, he takes a look at every single card in Twilight Struggle, and the card today is Solidarity. Also, a flash preview of Gorgon's Loch and Iran-Iraq War, card by card again by Twilight Struggle, and get gaming advice for new board gamers. Our top 5 things, blah blah blah, and solo play, Cuba Libre, Solo, a coin game. This is a playthrough and Super Auto Pets Tier 1 Pets Only Challenge. What can I tell you? A few people are back this week, including Kyle Seeley, who hasn't been around in a while. And Kyle Seeley takes a look at the first 2 turns of Compass Games' Crusade and Revolution 2nd Edition, a game designed by David Gomez Reloso.
Hey guys, Dave here. Welcome to the Centurion's Review. This week we did two first look videos, episode number 3 of the Worst of Wargaming, and a video directed towards wargame publishers. The first look video we did was Greek Civil War and Modern War magazine. This game's about the communist insurrection in Greece in the 1940s. I posted a link to my video on Board Game Geek, and the designer left a comment and a download link because he suggests I use his original rules and not what Decision Games published. Apparently Decision Games made some rule changes that the designer did not agree with. Next we did a first look at Dragon vs. Bear and Modern War magazine. This game's a what-if scenario where China and Russia go to war in the 21st century. Looks like a typical Joe Miranda magazine game to me with multiple combat results tables, etc. In the Worst of Wargaming, episode number 3, we talk about the worst typo we have ever seen in a war game. I felt a little bad about making this video because the game itself is actually pretty good. Last, I made a video directed at wargame publishers. In this video, I explain why it's a good idea for wargame publishers to sell their games on Amazon in addition to their website and game shops. Thanks for watching and have a good holiday weekend.
Hello all! Today, Kilroy goes off the shelf on alt history, or alternative history. Or history that is hypothetical or different. You make the alternative. What am I talking about? Aren't all war games alt history? Well, I mean, war games are a simulation of a historical event and trying to see if there's a different outcome, to see if there's a different alternative. But that's not really what I'm talking about here, because those are games that have, a set historical event. You're trying to put the forces in play that to their historical capabilities and trying to come up with a different outcome, or at least one side's trying to come up with a different outcome. What I'm talking about is alternative history. So this is either events that didn't happen, or they're based on hypotheticals that didn't happen or could have happened. It's kind of what-if scenarios. Kind of a master of the alt history genre in novels is Harry Turtledove. Now, there's other authors out there that do this, but he's kind of a master of this, coming up with, a totally different timeline, taking military events or historical events, in this case, the Civil War, and introducing some hypothetical, in this case, AK-47s, and coming up with a different alternative history or different timeline in that regard. And so when we're looking at games like World at War, which was done by Lock and Load, this is focusing on an alt history, an event that never took place, World War III in the 1980s. And so this is focusing on something that did not happen, and kind of looking back at it as what if this happened, and what were the capabilities of the forces at that time, and how would have that conflict or World War III played out. And this, of course, was brought up to date to 1985 again, in World at War 85. And so this whole series here is again focusing on potential conflict that that never took place in the 1980s. Again, a lot of games focus on 1985. There's a whole line of games that are coming out focusing on potential hypothetical World War III or conflicts in the 80s. Several games, and I don't have a lot of them, but there's probably too many to name. There's kind of a renaissance or resurgence of those kind of games coming out now. Another game of alt history from Lock and Load is the Nuclear Winter 68. Now that one goes back to World War II, and introduces a hypothetical of, well, there was a nuclear war, the war ended differently, there was a nuclear war, but this kind of goes a little off the rails here and introduces, mutations and kind of zombie-like characters and supernatural and a lot of different hypotheticals that you're not normally seeing in a historical war game, but definitely falls into the alt history category. Now, not all games focus on the past or focus on what could have happened in a hypothetical of something that never happened or really wasn't even set to happen, like World War III. And some games are focused on the future and what potentially could happen currently or into the future. And games like that are like Second Fleet games, which that whole Fleet series was done in the 80s, and so it was focusing on potential conflicts in the 80s and 90s, and was really, it's kind of hypothetical because those conflicts didn't happen, so you could model potential conflicts. Now at some point those come out of date because if you wanted to play Second Fleet now, it's going to harken back to playing World War III in the 80s or the 90s, because that's what this system modeled. The whole Fleet series was modeling the capabilities of those different countries and their naval units and the like, what they could do at that time period. Taking that forward, you have like South China Sea and there's like Indian Ocean. That's kind of doing what the Fleet system did back in the day. They're looking at potential conflicts, current potential conflicts, or future, near future conflicts, and what could happen. So they're looking at it as a hypothetical. So again, kind of back to the future-looking alt history. Second Fleet, over time, Second Fleet is now, looking back. It becomes more of the backward-looking hypothetical. Another example of that, a lot of magazines do this. Here's Command magazines, When Dragons Fight. I think this one came out like in the 80s or 90s. What this game was doing was a potential invasion of Taiwan if China invaded Taiwan. I'm getting a lot of glare there. Sorry about that. But, this was the capabilities as of that time. So this now is kind of a looking back hypothetical because a lot of those capabilities have changed. Now, if you want to go into the Next War series from GMT, there's a whole line of games dealing with Korea and Taiwan and Vietnam and India, of current or near future conflicts and modeling the capabilities at that time. So those are kind of alt history or hypothetical games as well. Again, there's a whole resurgence of hypothetical games that are coming out now, or alt history games that are coming out now. And magazine games do this a lot. Another example from Command Magazine is the Moscow option. Now this was a little different. This is Eastern Front, World War II. So this is a look back, right? And we know that there was a battle and a war on the Eastern Front in World War II. So why is this hypothetical? Why do I put this in the alt history? Why isn't this just a regular war game? Well, this one instituted, some assumptions and some hypotheticals that didn't take place and that never took place. But what this game really was focusing on was modeling a specific, attack and some strategies that never did take place, but saying what if they did, what would happen there. So it's kind of one of your historical what if scenarios. More so than just playing out the forces the way that they were historically and seeing a different outcome. This one is introducing some assumptions, some baked in assumptions, and trying to play out and see what happens based on those assumptions. So I put this more into the alt history because you're kind of looking back and saying, well, if this, and this happened, what would this look like? And you're not just letting the game be, a historical simulation. You're really making it more of a model to simulate a specific set of circumstances that did not take place at all. So, maybe I'm splitting hairs there, but I've put this into that category of alt history. And there's some games out there like that, not as many. A lot of the games that you find fall into major what ifs that really never happened, like invading China or setting up a whole system where you can model several current or near future engagements and the like. So again, there's a whole resurgence or renaissance of games that are doing this now. I mean, they've always, they've been around. They've been around with us since the beginning of the hobby. But I feel like there's an influx of them now. You have NATO and a lot of other, I can't even list them all off. Compass has several, GMT has several, other publishers have a lot of these type of games. Lock and Load are all, coming out with these games, and a lot of them focus on the 80s and more specifically on 1985. So, query why that is. Because sometimes you just need to play like it's 1985.
Long since the vanishing of the greater dragons, the war of eternity has raged. A war driven by love and lust, politics and resources, tragedy and hope. A war sustained by the military masterminds of the four dissonant kingdoms: Frost, Flame, Sea, and Timber. Take up arms and lead one of these powerful factions in detailed conflict, sculpting every aspect of battle. Plot terrain that is advantageous for your army, but deadly for the opposition. Build your outposts and sustain your forces. Gather invaluable support. Recruit the perfect army to harmonize with your plan. Deploy into a formation of your own design. Then, choose your battlefield orders wisely. Maneuver, extricate, lighten, pillage, sacrifice. Call on mercenary support to bolster your skirmish. Create complex action chains and stun your opponent. Combo your orders and become a perilous threat. Unleash devastating attacks on terrifying mounts. Use your support to boost your actions and invent impossible chains. Rout the opposition and hold their forces in your prison. Pillage outposts and starve out the competition. Rescue your prisoners and shock with a new position of offense. Reshape the battlefield by weaponizing the terrain. Fill your graveyard and stand victorious. Attrition, blitz tactics, deception, psychological warfare. The choice is yours. Craft your own strategy. Weaponize everything. This is maneuver warfare.
Another week, another show. This one was a big one, I found. And thanks for watching. Please subscribe. There are more people than watch than subscribe. Just hit the little thingy thing, eh? That's all. It helps me, man. Come on, don't you want to help me? Anyways, please donate to this channel. Keeps it strong. It's like a Viagra shot. Whatever. And, congrats to Artie for winning Grognard of the Year 2020. Thanks for Jim for doing that fantastic turnover of whatever you want to call it, of the baton, of the coat, of the hat, of the Grognard of the Year. Anyways, once you're Grognard of the Year, you're always Grognard of that year. So, you know, I think it's an honor to be voted by people. People like you, you know, shows a lot of good stuff. Also, what can I say? Also nothing. Have a great weekend. And keep on keeping on. Ciao.